Fernando Alonso ever so slightly called out social media and the media. George Russell called a driver a grandma. And Tsunoda explained why Imola caused a smidgen of a shift for him. Here is part 2 of the interesting things that we learn from the driver's press conference at the Spanish F1 race weekend. Honestly, I felt bad for Tsunoda. He didn't really get asked any questions, and so he didn't really say a lot. He said that he's still learning the car, and Imola made him realise that he might have underestimated the importance of knowing some of the areas of the car. Moving on to George, he thinks the technical directive won't have a massive impact on the team. They'll just need to relearn a couple of things, and this is kind of what Alonso had said before. When asked about the move he made on Albon during the Monaco Grand Prix, he said this isn't like a new George, we're not seeing anything different. He was just really tired of being behind Albon, who was driving like a grandma. However, he gave quite a PR answer when he was saying that he thinks the penalty was very fair and it's not something that he would, typically do. He wasn't doing it for sporting gain. He was just kind of bored, I guess. Like, that was the kind of vibe he was giving. And then talking about the meal between him and Albon on the Sunday, he said that it was not expensive enough and so the debt has not been paid. Lastly, he was asked about Monaco, and similar to the drivers in the first half of the press conference, he ended up saying that Monaco is Monaco. It's an exhilarating qualifying, but we all know it's qualifying. It's a qualifying race. And Alonso said the same thing. Fernando went on to say that people just expect too much from Monaco. And a lot of that is due to what's being written in the media and also what's being said on social media, because it kind of adds this idea that we need to be having this big spectacle, this big show, and that's just not Monaco. And I mean that in the sense of during the race. Obviously, Monaco is a big show. And then he went on to say that this thing happens every single year. There's always the peaks of the emotions and the adrenaline on Saturday, and then the things written about the race on Monday. And he's a bit surprised every time he sees the negative things on Monday because, well, Monaco is Monaco. In fact, he feels like if you asked Senna or Prost about Monaco a week after it happened, they would not be very polite. But drivers nowadays are too nice, so they answer everyone's questions. Looking towards the future, he doesn't think we're going to be losing Barcelona, which I thought was rather interesting because I feel like we've all been told we're losing Barcelona. So I thought, does he know something we don't? Also, the 2026 car won't be decisive for his career, but it will be a massive factor in his future. Finally, he was asked about Nui's presence in Monaco, and he said that he felt like the team was kind of operating at a higher level because Nui was there. And also, he noticed that Nui kind of kept people honest in meetings. Furthermore, in Monaco, Nui said that there are correlation issues between the sim and the actual car, and this could take up to 2 years to fix. So naturally, Alonso was asked about it, and he said that all teams have these correlation issues because there are so many external factors, but he does think it will take them less than 2 years to fix their issues.